Premier League primetime on tape. Jose, Cyrus, and Andre. And you know that Dave I don't play. In the field, they can talk about it all day. Look, and we moving up. You can try all you want, can't move like us. When it all comes down, they choosing us. And I do gotta say we don't give a fuck. Premier League primetime, and it's only that. Speak only facts. Say what I want, can't hold me back. Can't hold me back. Premier League primetime, better yet, it's my time. You stay on the sideline. Say what I want, can't hold me back. Premier League primetime.
Recording. Hello and welcome back to Premier League Primetime, and I'm here with three absolutely fantastic guests. I'll start with Oris, the man returns, the man, the myth, the legend. Oris, man turning up like Mason Mount did last season for Chelsea. How are you, my friend?
What a start.
I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. How are you, mate?
Things have been all right. And for the first time, I'm joined by Mr. Waleed, man coming in like Ty. How are you, my friend?
Yes, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's a pleasure to be on the channel, man.
It's absolute best time. And of course, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, the GOAT himself, Big C. How are you doing?
What's going on? You're right. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. You know, Big C's coming in here. You know, man's coming in. You know, giving all of us those KG vibes. You know, and I've heard the Rudiger comparisons and
the David McGoldrick comparisons as well, man. They just don't stop.
No, they don't. They honestly don't. But getting right into the show, and I know none of us really feel like talking about international football, but I think we should, just because we just came off the back of the crucial World Cup qualifying.
Yeah, man, this one was very important.
I'll start with the Three Lions, our beloved England, and we've qualified. I mean, aren't we all buzzing that we've qualified for the World Cup?
I mean, yeah, it was expected, to be fair, but I'm still very happy. I think we could do something special in the World Cup. Hopefully, I'm hoping, man. But obviously, 2026 World Cup, man, you're gonna see Somalia in it. You're gonna see Abdurrahman banging in the goals up top. You get me? And then we're gonna win it. I can't even lie. If we were in the World Cup, I think everyone would just want us to win. I can't even lie. But before we even dream about World Cup, we have to dream about qualifying to try qualify for AFCON, because we're that then. But anyway, yeah, with England, yeah, I'm just happy that it was always expected that we're gonna qualify. But yeah, I'm just happy that it's done, dusted, and like there are a few big teams that have to go through playoffs, like Italy and Portugal, and a few other teams like that I weren't really expecting to be there. So I'm just happy that we've asserted our place.
There shouldn't be any chance was going for. I'm not surprised. So we qualified.
Yeah, especially our group. Like San Marino haven't won a trophy since like 1991. They haven't won a game for it since 1991. Like, that's what I saw.
Sam, shut that door, please.
Makes it more embarrassing to see a certain captain going like that and knee sliding. Just, I don't know. It's things like that just make me cry in my sleep, honestly, really good. But
oh, man, the GOAT, man, slap it, man.
Getting into the core of this. No, we're not having any, Saeed flashbacks.
Exactly, man. Oris, man, we're not doing that today, man.
No.
Mason, we have to keep that on the slide today, man. Save it for later.
Fans getting bantered, but I'll get right into what I wanted to talk about, which was a potential brainstorm of a World Cup qualifying or World Cup squad. Of course, every country brings 23. It's a 23-man squad, and I just wanted to go through and if we were to make a squad of our own, right? And we were Southgate and his coaching staff, and we were selecting the players going. What would our squad would be? Starting with goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and attackers and strikers. I just thought that would be sort of fun and interesting to see. And I'll start with the goalkeepers. Obviously, we always bring three. Big C, starting with you. If you're Southgate and the World Cup was happening, let's say tomorrow, what three goalkeepers are you bringing in your World Cup squad?
Ramsdale, he's definitely earned his spot, and that's why football was beautiful, because you can have a run of games, really make a good account for yourself, and you can make your way into the manager's thoughts. So definitely Ramsdale will be in there. Pickford, and then the third goalkeeper. I would like to say Henderson, but Henderson's not playing enough football at the moment. So if I'm Henderson, I want to go out on loan in January because he's a good goalkeeper, but he's not being able to show it at Man United right now. So yeah, definitely Pickford, Ramsdale, and then the third goalkeeper. I'll say that's up for grabs. Someone could throughout the rest of the season can cement that spot, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, there's Johnstone, there's Pope. I mean, I personally go Pope. I think Pope's a very good goalkeeper. I mean, I rate Nick Pope of Burnley. He's a great goalkeeper. Or it's coming to you, and Waleed also threw in as well. Who would your 3 goalkeepers be? Or who would you say would be in our squad?
I would, without a doubt, pick Ramsdale, and then Pickford and Sam Johnstone. That would be my 3 keepers.
Yeah. Waleed, are you saying the same thing?
Yeah, I'll probably say the same thing as well. But the only reason why I might consider bringing Pope in over Johnston is just because I haven't seen Johnston this season. I haven't really been seeing like how he's been playing. Obviously, he's a very good goalkeeper, and he shouldn't be playing in the Championship for me. I feel like he should be playing for like a top Premier League club. I feel like a team like Newcastle could do with Sam Johnston in their team because he's a very, very good goalkeeper, and he shouldn't really be in the Championship, really. But yeah, with Nick Pope, I've been impressed with him so far this season with Burnley. He's been just been holding it down like in goal. Like he hasn't been. If he wasn't in goal, they probably would be conceding way more goals. So yeah, like I'd say that. Whether whoever should start between Ramsdale and Pickford, I mean, end of the season we'll see in it. But knowing Southgate will probably be Pickford. But I'll back my boy any day, man.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I actually agree with your 3, Waleed. I think it should be. I mean, Ramsdale for me, I think should be number 1. I think everyone agrees on that.
Yeah.
To be honest, to be fair, when Pickford plays for England, he's usually very solid. Like over the last few years, at least. So like,
but
I wouldn't see why
he
you're
looks a bit
dropping.
shaky for me though at times. Don't get me wrong. We know that he can perform to a decent level, but at the same time, just as well as he can perform at a decent level, it's just as well he can perform shaky as well.
Playing the ball in the back, for me, I mean, the man looks like he's on skates sometimes when he's playing the ball in the back. He's nervous. When I look at Ramsdale, despite being young, he just breathes so much. I mean, it's like a breath of fresh air when I look at Ramsdale, and I think everyone said at this point, but everyone had their doubts. I mean, when he signed for what, roughly 25 million pounds for Ramsdale?
Yeah, 24 million. Yeah.
I think everyone was like, what was Arsenal doing paying that amount of money for a goalkeeper?
Yeah, at the time we were looking, that was probably going to be a backup because obviously we didn't know Len was going to get dropped in it. But Ramsdale's coming. He's just asserted his spot from day one, and he's one of the players. Like something that I have seen often with Arsenal over the last few games. Yeah, is just like so many more players that are actually playing for the badge and like are actually showing like determination and desire and having the mentality to win games and not just like passengers on the pitch, innit? Because like every single player on the pitch, almost every single game always plays their part. Every single person on the pitch always plays their part. It's not like one man carrying the whole team. It's every single person showing like picking up their weight basically. Because like before in previous years, it would be like Aubameyang carrying us when everyone else was dead, or if like Alexis Sanchez was carrying us when everyone else was dead. Or like it's just anyone in it, just like it would always be like one person in the job and everybody just like tugging along in it. But I'm just happy like everyone's playing their part, and that's why we look so much better of a unit as a team than we have recently in like previous years. So that's why I'd probably say like against teams like Liverpool when we face them, we might have a better chance of winning. However, if we were to face them like 2 years ago, if like there was one person carrying us. But yeah, I'm just happy like with the way we're playing right now, man. It's great to see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for Arsenal. I mean, I look at Arsenal now, and there's something totally different from what I've seen them years gone by when it was one person, like carrying the team on the back. Last season, it was a 19-year-old kid, 19-year-old. I'm Kyle Slacker, 19 kids, 19 years old, and he was carrying the world of the entire club Arsenal's weight on his shoulders. I mean, and you got to feel for the kid. But going into the right backs and. I mean, honestly, one can make a team of right backs, just make a whole starting 11 of right backs for England. Obviously, there's so many, but I mean, you can't bring 11 right backs to the World Cup. Obviously, you bring.
Southgate would try to.
Oh yeah, we all know Southgate would because we all know Southgate has his favorites. 100%. But getting into
boys, man.
the midst of the right backs, let's say it was only down to 2. What 2 right backs are you bringing? And also, Bieber, one of them can act as a center back in a back 3. So I mean, I'm also keeping that in mind. But if it's 2 right backs,
that's a good question, because automatically I was thinking of Trent and Reece James, but then you can't forget about Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker has been immense for England, so yeah, that's a bit of a tricky one.
For me, it's the same.
For me, I rate Trent so much. I feel Trent is such a baller. I feel like the English press give him a bit of a hard time. Where for me, I think he's the best right back in world football. Like
really?
the things that he does with his delivery, like his passing, is second to none. And in this day and age, as a right back, it's the attacking point of view is so important. Because if you think about Liverpool as a top team, any top team wants to play in the front foot, and they want their right back, to also have that attacking outlet. And I don't think there's anyone better than Trent at the moment.
I rate Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he's a very good right back, but defensively, he's always getting exposed defensively for me. I mean,
always.
Not always, but oftentimes he is. When you compare his attacking side to his defensive side of the game, they're very, very, very different in terms of levels. I rate Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he's a very good right back for me. I definitely bring him in the squad, but I just think that's something that one has to keep in mind. I think defensively, Reece James is a far better right back than Trent Alexander-Arnold. Going forward, no, Trent Alexander-Arnold over Reece James. But for me, Kyle Walker brings the best of both worlds. He brings the best. He has both that brilliant defensive presence as well as being brilliant going forward. So I would actually bring Kyle Walker, but the man can play as a third center back as well. And I'd bring Reece James and Trent Alexander-Arnold. I push it to 3, but coming to Orson, Waleed, what are you two saying? Do you agree with myself? Do you agree with Big C? Or do you two have your own opinions in entirety?
For me, I think I would agree with you guys. I think Trent and Reece James are both. I'll pick them for right back.
Would you bring Kyle Walker as well?
Yeah, I would. If it was free, then I would bring Kyle Walker. If it was to play a back 5, I would try out Kyle Walker as a centre back.
Let's make it more difficult though. Like, let's say you only had to pick 2, and you can't put Kyle Walker won't fit in that centre back, so you have to pick 2 out of those 3.
I bring Walker and Trent.
Yeah, I bring Walker and Trent for me as well. Because like with obviously Trent and Walker, they've been doing it longer than Reece James has, like, and on a more of a consistent basis. Don't get me wrong, Reece James is an incredible right back. Yeah. He's been immense this season, attacking and defensive. But with Walker, especially Walker himself, like obviously his pace is insane. Like that guy is like he's rapid. He's got the recovery speed to stop counterattacks, which is very important. He can attack perfectly well. He can defend perfectly well, and he's a leader. He's got experience. He's played for England countless amount of times. He's literally the perfect player for that position. And then you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, who, as Big C said, I have to agree. Like no one comes close to him right now in terms of best right back in the world. I mean, like, Tomiyasu's knocking on the door, but like obviously, like with the I'm joking. But so yeah, like with Trent, I don't like. It's even a thing where if we're playing a back 4, I don't know who to start. Like in my opinion, like I actually have no clue who I'd start. If it's a back 3, then I'd it'd be Maguire, Stones, and and Walker. But if it was a back 4, then honestly, it might have to be a toss of a coin because both of them are just so good. Like with Trent, I think it's a bit of a myth. Like how people say, like, oh, he's terrible defensively. Like he's not. He's good defensively. Like, and obviously,
I wouldn't say he's top class defensively. I think he's decent.
No,
defensively.
He's not. But he's
top class.
Yeah, he's very good defensively. He does his job.
But even Kyle Walker, I look at Kyle Walker. He's got a lot of mistakes in him, but his pace gets him out of a lot of trouble. That's the difference for me. And if I had to pick right now, I would pick Trent and Kyle Walker. But a lot can happen come the end of the season.
Oh, definitely.
James could easily get in.
Definitely.
And with Kyle Walker, if he hasn't got his pace, he's not the same. I probably wouldn't pick him. Like I like Kyle Walker because he's got insane pace any mistake that happens in that back four or back five, he'd be able to get the team out of trouble because of his pace. But then if that pace gets taken away from him, I don't think it's the same player, man. But back to what we were saying in terms of Trent, don't get me wrong. Obviously, his best attributes is going forward, but I don't think it's as bad as people's making out defensively. Like, can he improve in that position? Of course, he can improve, but I don't think it's as bad as people make out.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, I think another reason you pick Kyle Walker is because the man is a senior player in that squad. He's a veteran. He's a leader, and especially with this team. I mean, this England side in and of itself, it's a very, very youthful team. It's a very young squad. And I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would love to manage the squad because that can be another excuse he could pull up. We're very young. Don't worry, things will come and we'll progress and learn in time. But we're very young, but don't worry. Trust my process and feeling but we're very young. And Ole would love to manage this squad because it's all very young. So if he loses, he has excuses. But yeah, I would go with. Would everybody say Walker and Trent before we move into?
But Reece James could easily get in as well. He's got the quality, and I think if he carries on the way he's going, he could easily sneak in over one of the two. But
absolutely. Getting into the center backs, I think two of them. Let's say we bring 4 center backs, right? I think it's really about the other two. I think everyone's gonna say Maguire and Stones. Maguire and Stones go. I think that's
they start
common knowledge.
There.
Common knowledge. Maguire and Stones should definitely go. I'm assuming everyone agrees on that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no debate.
Ooh, big C.
Oh, really? Nah, like also take into account how they play for England as well, especially. That's very important. Like, for their clubs as well. That's obviously the most important thing that determines whether you get called up or not. But like, also their performances when they put on the England shirt, that's something you have to take into account.
Big P, are you agreeing with Maguire and Stones, or I saw you had some doubts?
Who's that? Me? Did you say?
Yeah. I saw you.
For England, Maguire's performed to a good level for England. Do I rate him as a centre back at a world class level? No. Does he do a good job for England? When he's been given opportunity for England, he's performed to a decent level. I'll give him credit for that, but I don't really rate him at the highest level, and I feel like he will get found out. I feel playing in that team, in the system as well, it does suit him because as we've been talking about, Kyle Walker does give him that security blanket in terms of to give that recovery run if there's any situation in the defense. Kyle Walker's there to clean up, and he did that a lot. He was like out in a lot of fires in that England team, whereas if Kyle Walker weren't there, England would have been exposed. But because of the pace, like, he was out in a lot of fires that probably went unnoticed. So yeah, I feel like you would bring Maguire, but you know what? If his form carries on, like Gareth Southgate's spoken a lot about players being in form, and if his form, say for example, his form carries on in Manchester United and he doesn't perform well, are you gonna pick him? I know he will, but is that gonna be warranted? Like, say for example, you've got what's his name at Arsenal performing well,
Ben White.
Ben White performing well. Like, for me, like, if a player's performing well and Maguire's not performing well, like, I don't think it's like a world-class player where that he has to play. Like, no, like, there's other players that might be in good form that you might pick ahead of him. That's just me personally.
Definitely. But I mean, in the general sense, but starting off with the 4 center backs, you'd bring Maguire and Stones. They're senior players. They've been there. They've done it. And they're also players that you can mainly trust when they're playing for England. In a very general sense, Maguire and Stones for me would go. Or do you agree with that? Of the 2 centers?
Yeah, I hear that. But at the same time, I can't really sleep on what Ben White's doing at Arsenal. Like, I got to be fair. And he's performed at a very good level, and which Maguire hasn't performed at for his club. Well, so I would pick him, but at the same time, I'm not sleeping on the fact what.
To be fair, you do know Gareth Southgate has his favourites, so he probably would play Maguire and Stones, and probably will call up Connor Cody and Tyrone Mings, even though.
Don't get me started.
Bang average.
Don't get me started. Okay, I wouldn't say that they're. Look, I don't think they're they're even.
Tyrone Mings is one of the worst defenders I've ever seen.
I think Mings and Cody are okay.
Mings apparently.
I think they're okay. I think they're average level Premier League center backs. I don't think that. I don't think they're Baresi and Beckenbauer, but I think they're all right. But for me, if I have the option of 4 center backs, for me, it's Harry Maguire, John Stones, Ben White, and Fikayo Tomori.
Yep.
Just about to
I was
say.
waiting for Tomori. Yeah, 100%. I was waiting for that.
Of course. What about you?
I 100% agree. 110% agree. But the only thing, like obviously, the only reason why I think for me Tyrone Mings like gets picked for the team, and even like for example like Kieran Trippier, like you do have to take into account like player morale in it. Like I'm not even trying to say this to be for banner or anything. Like it's all jokes aside, it's actually like a serious thing because like Tyrone Mings he's a very good he's got like a good personality about him. So he's a nice person. Like you can just tell like his demeanor and everything. He's a very calm, chill guy, and he gets along with a lot of people in the team. And maybe when morale's low, you need people like Mings in the team just to like keep people happy and get their morale up. So that's probably the only reason why it would be good to pick Mings in the team. And to be fair, when he did play in the Euros for England, he was pretty solid. When Harry Maguire, I think it was, he wasn't playing because he was injured. Yeah. So when Mings stepped in like against Scotland and Croatia, he was actually pretty good. So like for England, he's not as bad as he is for like, for example, Aston Villa this season at least. Because last season for Villa he was okay, but this season he hasn't been the best. I won't lie. But yeah, Benjamin White, the GOAT himself. Easily, if he continues the way he's going, man, he has to get in the England team because, like, even he was in the England team last season.
Wait, hold up, Oris, who'd your 4 center backs be? Because I haven't heard.
4 center backs: Stones, Maguire, Tomori, and Ben White. I don't know about Ben White. If he carries on,
Phil Jones.
Actually, Stones, Maguire, Lindelof, and Tomori.
You're gonna make me cry if you.
Who did you say is your 4th one?
If Ben White continues, then I'll say Ben White.
Yeah, Benjamin. It has to be Benjamin, man. Like, yeah, I don't even know. Is there anyone else in the Premier League right now like that's performing at the level of those 4 centre backs? For England, at least.
Phil Jones is world class. Craig Dawson is a wonderful defender, and of course Connor Cody, who's.
What about Ezra Konsa?
No.
He hasn't been as good as he's been in previous seasons. Like the whole of Aston Villa, to be honest, like the whole of Aston Villa have like taken a massive dip in form, like since Jack Grealish has left. To be fair, which is understandable because he's like far and away was their best player. So that's fair enough. That's still like a big adjustment to make. Sometimes I even remember that they got Emi Buendia and we were about to sign him. And
anyways, we'll go with those 4 center backs: Maguire, Stones, Mings, and Tomori.
Now this next one's going to be a debate. Left back.
There's no debate.
I think left backs are pretty straightforward for me. For me, it's Sancho and Luke Shaw. I think it's very.
No, I'm not saying for play. I'm not saying for them too. I'm saying who's going to start for me.
Luke Shaw.
But if we're saying we're just talking about. We're just making a score. We're not saying like who's starting, but in terms of making a squad, this one's straightforward. Is everyone agreeing?
Yeah. If we're making a choice, easy. Yeah, Chua and
I agree with that.
Sure. All right. Central midfielders. I'll say 4. I mean, for me, I think one of them gets in. Declan Rice. So let's just talk about Declan Rice for a minute, right? And if you look at defensive midfielders, and I heard someone say that Declan Rice is the best defensive midfielder in the world, and I was like, what are they on? And then compliment, and I thought to myself, like in terms of form at this exact moment in time,
it's not.
Conte's been injury prone. I mean, when I think of the 3 best defensive midfielders in the world, I think
don't say it. Please do not say it.
No. I'm saying the best 3 central defensive midfielders in the world are Joshua Kimmich, Casemiro, and N'Golo Conte. I think everyone can agree on that. But in terms of being one of the best defensive midfielders in the world right now, you'd have to say Declan Rice is up there.
Maybe one of. Yeah, I'd probably say that.
But it's buts for me. There's no Declan Rice for me, top form. For me, if Man United can sign this guy,
if West Ham get Champions League football, he's going nowhere.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
he's not going nowhere.
No, you can't say we're Manchester United. If we can't,
that's very true.
If we can't get Declan Rice from West Ham,
if you can't attract
then we're in bigger trouble than what I thought. thought we was.
But if you think
Like,
of it from a logic
West
standpoint,
Ham are greedy, man. They want 100 million. So yeah.
look, I said for my birthday, or my mom a few days before my birthday said, "Oh, Dave, so what do you want for your birthday?" And it's like, Mom,
In the loft.
I mean, for me, I just want three things. So, not that much. I just want three things. I just want three things. I mean, if I could just, have a little bit of Jadon Sancho, if I could have a bit of Rafa Varane and a little bit of Declan Rice, that'd make my whole year.
Your mom's not good, mate.
I got two of those. I didn't get three, but I got two of those. I mean, like Declan Rice. I mean, the man will have 2 years left on his contract after the season.
Yeah.
The man is not
I love
clearly
Declan
on a
Rice,
new
man.
contract. But if West Ham, especially to get Champions League football, I mean, David Moyes said that
I feel like,
bargain.
yeah.
Declan
I was
Rice.
saying from like 2-3 years ago for Man United to get Declan Rice, and his
Yeah.
stock has just been going up and up and up. Like I've liked him for a
Yeah,
long
man,
time.
when he had the buzz cut and no facial, man. I still remember his the appearance where he scored the debut goal against Arsenal when they beat us. I remember that game.
Mm.
Yeah, man, he absolutely
I like
run the
everything
show.
about him. His mentality as well,
Yeah.
like just his vibes as well. Like he's a quality player, and I feel
Vibes.
His vibes, man.
I
Him
like
and
him.
Mason,
I
him
like
and
him.
Money
You-
Mason,
you
man.
know that
Declan
word.
Rice is quality. I don't care if you have if you have quality and you play with quality. I could not care if you're good vibes FC or normal vibes FC. I couldn't care. Perform on the pitch, and for me, that's what matters. It's like the whole Paul Pogba agenda with the whole Graham Souness. Oh, he does his hair. He's this and he's that. Look, if you perform on the pitch, I couldn't care what you do off the pitch. I couldn't care if Paul Pogba went through every color of the rainbow and color scale and sprayed a part of his hair in
No, but you know what? His personality is important as well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before.
You get paid. You get paid for what you do on the pitch, but just a person's character in terms of their mentality, their psychological makeup, and just
Rice has it all.
are they a likable person? Do they fit in well within the current group of players in a team? And don't
Declan
underestimate
Rice
those type
ticks
of
those
things as well.
boxes. Yeah,
Because
Declan
when you
Rice
buy a
ticks those.
player, it's not just about their abilities. It's about what are they like mentally. Like, are they the type of person that wants to go hiding off if the game's not going according to plan, or they're going to be want to get the ball and be counted and try and make things happen, or not hide away when
100%. Yeah.
when the going gets
Declan
tough.
Rice definitely the second option. Especially, I remember in the Euros final, he was literally taking the game from the scruff of the neck. Literally,
Definitely, 100%. But
just starting all the
yeah.
attacks and everything, man. What a player, man.
But jumping quickly back into the central midfielders, Declan Rice, I think that's on all of our lists. I think that's a given. And for the other three central midfielders, I mean, for me, I'll go around to everyone else and we'll just do a quick fire of who your other three central midfielders be. Brief explanations. Well, I mean, for me, Calvin Phillips has got to be in there. And look, and the media have to stop over hyping Calvin Phillips. Everyone's saying he was one of the best players. I thought it was robbery how he got in, England Player of the Year. For me, it was Raheem Sterling 100%.
Raheem Sterling all day, every day.
Carried us through the entirety of that tournament for me. And I love Raheem Sterling. For me, he needs to go leave City and find somewhere else where he can play more. But getting him
Come to the red and white, man. I will happily take you, man.
From the Gunners, man.
Come to the red and white, man.
It's Calvin Phillips, Jude Bellingham, and Jordan Henderson, because again, you need leadership. You have a very young squad. Jordan Henderson should not be starting midfielder at all. I just think Jordan Henderson.
Give me your four again, sorry.
So
What was
I mean,
what was
that's
the four that you said?
What was
I
the
think it'll be more than 4. Like, I remember it is a 23-month squad.
Calvin Phillips, Jude Bellingham, Jordan Henderson. I mean, for me, I don't think Henderson's a world beater. I don't think he's anything world class. But I just think, again, as you said, locker room personality. Henderson, he's a veteran. He's won the Premier League. He's won the Champions League. He's been at international tournaments for England in the past. He's seen there, done it before.
Did you say Henderson, Declan
Yes.
Rice, Phillips, and Bellingham?
Yes, those would be
For me, that's 3 kind of defensive midfielders, and then you've got Jude Bellingham. Like, I feel like if you're gonna pick 4, there needs to be two defensive and then 2 maybe some type of creativity in that midfield.
The reason why is because
I don't think it's as easy as
the
that.
attackers, there's going to be about like 5 or 6 attackers, or maybe even 7, and that will have more than enough creativity for me. That will have more
in
than
the midfield, though. And I feel that's where games are controlled in the midfield, and that's how you can dictate, where the game's going in the midfield.
Yeah, some of those players can fit in the midfield as well. In the
Yeah, like But yeah, for me, it's not as easy as just like picking four names. Like,
No,
also, like we do have to bear in mind the fact that like this is a one game knockout tournament. You're gonna need like, for example, like I'm not saying that he should go or like he should be starting by any means, but I'm saying James Ward-Prowse has to be in with a shout just because of his
definitely.
like
Yeah.
just because of his like ability from dead ball situations, and you need that, and we need that like in
I'll pick
we
Gallagher
need that in a
over him right
tournament.
now. I'll pick
Okay.
Yeah,
Gallagher over
Yeah,
him right now.
yeah.
I'm not
Just
gonna lie
going
to you.
around to everyone. Big C, sorry with you. Who would your four central midfielders be? So you can keep, so you can go on to the attackers, because I think that'll be the biggest and actually the most exciting prospect of the squad. But starting with you, Big C, who would your four central midfielders be if you only had the
Brandon man also like just before Big C goes into name and stuff like the squad has to like does the squad have to like add up to 23 players in total?
Roughly in and around, but I'm just keeping it relatively.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I like narrowing it down because it kind of makes it more competitive in terms
Yeah.
of okay, like
Yeah, so
if
the
you've
bit,
got
yeah.
four, who would you pick out of those four to kind of just to narrow it down? But mine would be definitely Declan Rice, Phillips. This is where it gets interesting now. Jude Bellingham. I do like Jude Bellingham. I'll say in current form, I'll say Gallagher, man. Like, I feel like I'm a big fan
That's a very good shout.
I'm a big fan of young talent. Like if they're old enough and they're good enough, give them an opportunity.
Definitely.
Obviously it might be controversial. You may say Henderson, the leadership that he brings,
I
but in terms of
not to
I feel like Declan Rice can do what Henderson can do, and a bit more for me.
Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, that's
so for me, for the balance now, okay, two defensive midfielders and then two midfielders that can control the game, good in possession of the ball, and players that are able to break down the defense. And I feel Jude Bellingham and Gallagher fit that mold.
The reason why I didn't quite go Conor Gallagher is because it's only been just a short burst of games, hasn't been consistently. But Oris, going to you, who would your four central midfielders would be? Then I'll go to Waleed, and then we'll get into the attackers.
Yeah, I would go Rice, Phillips, Bellingham, and Smith Rowe for me.
As the central midfielder?
Yep.
All right, that's actually very interesting. Waleed, what about you?
Yeah, Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips for me are like excited. But actually, you know what? I don't know, like based off of this season at least, especially like the way he's performing like with his team and the way his team been performing, I don't even know if Calvin Phillips is asserted in the team. Like in terms of his performances this season.
I was thinking that as well.
Yeah. So like if he carries on the way he's going and the way Leeds are performing, I'd say it would be for me Declan Rice, Jordan Henderson, Jude Bellingham, and whether you're gonna put this player in the attackers, I don't know. But me personally, he has to be in a shot. Mason Mount has to be in a shot.
Yeah, Mason Mount and Emil Smith are more attackers. They're not really.
Okay, cool. All right, fair enough. So we'll leave them for attackers then. So right,
I was thinking that as well because for me, even Phil Foden can play in the midfield as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
can.
what I'm
But
saying.
assuming that it's going to be that 4-2-3-1 formation that.
Yeah. All right. So okay. So I'd say Declan Rice, Jordan Henderson, Jude Bellingham, and yeah, like you could put in Conor Gallagher, like the way he's performing. If he carries on the way he's going, then he could easily get in. But to be honest, yeah, I don't really know. Like, but this is only if Calvin Phillips doesn't carry on the way he's playing. But if he carries on the way he's playing for England at least, then yeah, he should be fine. He should be playing. So yeah, I'll just put him in. Yeah, I'll put Calvin Phillips in. So yeah, Henderson, Phillips, Rice, and Bellingham.
Yeah,
Bellingham's a baller, man. Honestly, the fact that a player of Jude Bellingham's quality and his age, he's already like almost asserted into the England team at like 18 or something. Like he's incredible, man. He's a baller, and he could have gone to United as well before he went Dortmund. But
yep,
yeah, man.
Yeah, and that's another funny thing. Yeah, he could have gone to Dortmund, or he could have gone to United, but he chose to go to Dortmund because of playing time. But
smart choice.
next, now getting to the attackers, I think this is as I said, this is going to be actually the funnest.
Juicy.
And I'll say 6 or 7. bearing in mind some of them can play as second striker. I mean, we all know Harry Kane will be the striker. Harry Kane will be the striker.
Yeah.
I think that's just common knowledge, 100% common knowledge. And bear in mind, I mean, whether you want another out and out number 9 or if you want one of the wingers can play up front. But I mean, for now, for this, are we going to say 6 attackers and 2 out and out number 9s, or do we want 7 attackers and just Kane as the one senior striker? Because that will.
We'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that.
I'd probably do 2 strikers, 4 wingers, and like 2 attackers, like / playmakers, or maybe 3 of those.
Wingers and attacking midfielders, we're just categorizing in attackers, and the 2 strikers, 2 out and out number 9s.
Yeah, so like
I'll
4 or
say
5 attackers and 2 strikers.
6 attackers and 2 strikers. I'll say.
Okay, all right. So, all right, yeah, we'll do 2 strikers, 6 attackers. I mean, we'll start with the attackers. I mean, this is going to be very difficult, but I mean, for me, I'll start with myself. I mean, for me, when I look at form and just players for me who I think can do it. I mean, for me, Marcus Rashford's got to be in there. You got Marcus Rashford, he's done it for England. Bukayo Saka, Raheem Sterling. Those 3 are a must, in my honest opinion. And then when it gets to the attacking midfielders, that's where it gets tough. Because
But Philip Foden as well. Philip Foden is counted as 4 for me. 4 assertive players that are in that team. And
because
from
when you have your 3 wingers, but then you also need players that are also good through the middle and on the wing. And I mean, for me, the other 3 players, for me, it's Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, and not Mason Mount, but I'd go Emil Smith Rowe. Those would be my 6.
Mason Mount has to play for me. Mason Mount has to play. No, I don't know if it was Smith Rowe, but I think Mason Mount has to play. Mason Mount.
6.
People are forgetting, like it's just the thing. Like people are starting to forget. Like this is just like how football fans are. Like I'm not even trying to say this is like rude or anything like disrespectful. Just to all football fans in general. Like we are kind of fickle in a way where it's just like one amazing player arises, we completely forget about another player. We're like, okay, let's go on this player.
But for me, Mason Mount hasn't been doing it that long enough to say, you know what, he's cemented his spot. Because obviously, you're just talking about.
He's been doing it for like a solid 2 years for me.
I've been doing it
2019, 2020.
You have to call me up, man. Been doing it for a long time. I won the Champions League with my club.
Exactly, yeah.
But going back on the example you were saying about Phillips' form, and obviously you was maybe thinking, should he deserve to be in the team because of his form? I think Mason Mount kind of falls into that same category. And there's been other players that have been performing well. So it's like, are we going on what they've done in the past? Or are we going on current form?
The thing is, like, with Calvin Phillips, like, with that, yeah, I understand how we can use that logic as well. But like with Mason Mount, he's just been doing it at a higher level for a longer period of time than Calvin Phillips has. Like Calvin Phillips, like whilst Mason Mount was starting week in week out for Chelsea, Calvin Phillips was like in the Championship with Leeds. Like with those two, you can't really like compare. You can't really compare like that, really, because Mason Mount, people are forgetting, yeah. Even when Chelsea had the transfer ban, Mason Mount was carrying Chelsea. Even the season after, when they bought like 7-8 players and they won the Champions League, Mason Mount was carrying Chelsea. And those two seasons, he was their best player.
It's been non-existent.
Yeah, this season, yeah, but he hasn't really. When he's played, like at the start of the season, he was pretty good. Like against Palace, against Arsenal, he absolutely destroyed us. Against Liverpool, he was very, very good. And then after he got an injury, and then that kind of derailed his form. And even in like the summer and the Euros, he wasn't that good as well. So I can give you benefit of the doubt for that.
Okay, wait, hold up, wait. So just to quickly just go around, Big C, again, I'll start with you. Your 6 attackers. Name off.
I just want to ask my man a quick question. If you had to pick Emil Smith Rowe or Mason Mount right now, who are you picking?
Right now,
at this moment in time, so November 18th, 2021, right now. The thing is, I'm gonna back my boy, obviously, just because of like.
Sorry to cut you. And also, who's got a higher ceiling? I feel Smith Rowe slightly's got a higher ceiling.
Smith Rowe for me is a higher ceiling than Mason Mount. I feel like Mason Mount's already been refined enough, so you kind of already know. But I feel like Smith Rowe, you can develop something.
Do you know the thing is with me? I'm really not trying to be biased. Like, don't get me wrong. I will be the first person to say like Emil Smith Rowe is a top baller, and I love that guy like with a passion. He's world class. I mean, he's not world class, but his performances have been world class to a level. Like he's only been 21. He's like literally like probably 1 year ago he was in the under 23s, and now he's like playing for the first team of England, helping us. He's Arsenal's number 10 at 21. Like, he's got potential. But with Mason Mount, you can't forget how amazing of a
No.
player he is as well.
But right
That's
now,
why it's
But
so
nobody
hard.
is forgetting it. But you also not only have to take in and of account of what they've done for England and what you know they can do, but you also have to take form into account as well. I mean, Southampton as well.
Yeah,
But just
obviously
to move
that's
this
true. Yeah,
England thing along, because they're also trying to jump back into the Premier League as well, to quickly to try and like wrap up the attackers so you can get through to the strikers. But I mean, something very interesting actually with the strikers. Marcus Rashford can play as a striker, or would you categorize Rashford in as an attacker and have someone like a Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front? Because actually, well, let's bring the
Mason Greenwood. I don't know why everyone's sleeping on my guy.
I'm not sitting on Mason Greenwood, but
Southgate. I think his treatment of Mason Greenwood is
been awful.
weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
That's
like
what
it's
Southgate
literally
said.
weird to treat a young player the way how he's treated him. I just don't get it.
Guys, guess what Southgate said? Southgate said he's going to select him for the World Cup next year. That's what he actually said.
yeah. There's no point. Like that's BS. Like if we're being honest, that really is BS. Because yeah, I understand that, but
what did he say?
BS. But worth missing.
So he had a private chat with his
family, and he talked with Mr. Fantastic about it all. But I mean, coming into the attackers, Big C, I'll start with you. Who would your 6 attackers be, and then who would your 2 number 9s be, and then we'll go to Orson and Molly.
Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Sterling, Rashford.
Yep.
I feel like I'm forgetting someone.
2 more attackers, and then you have 2 strikers.
Who have I said? Ooh.
Saka, Jadon Sancho. I'm listing names, and then there's Mount.
Yeah, Saka, Sancho, Mount, Smith Rowe. There's a lot, man. There's a lot.
I'm thinking there's a lot, but I'm trying to think who deserves it right now.
Even you can put Conor Gallagher as an attacker as well, technically.
If we're talking about current form, I can't really put Jadon Sancho in there. I can't.
No, you can't.
But things can change very quickly.
If you're talking about current form, did Jack Grealish, is he meant to be in there?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
For current form.
Jack Grealish goes in. If you see,
I think he's definitely done more than Mason Mount. I think he's done more than a lot of players. He's done more than Sterling.
Yeah, but he has been underwhelming.
But then again, Sterling hasn't had the opportunity to be fair. So, but then what he's done in the England shirt is like he's like you have to bring Sterling up. I don't think there's any question.
Yeah. Anyways, 2 more attackers, and then your 2 strikers up front.
It's tough. Realistically, we're talking 4 players in 2 positions.
I'm gonna have to say Smith Rowe,
and then your last attacker and your other striker, because we all know one of the 2 strikers is going to be Harry Kane.
I might have to say Saka. I got to keep it real. I got to keep it real, man.
And
I got to keep it real.
Mason Greenwood as the other striker.
Yeah, going back to Mason Greenwood, what Southgate said, and for me it was very weird about he needs to make sure he's getting picked for his club, otherwise he won't be coming. You can forget about being picked, but it's just the way how he said it was like, why would you talk to a young player like that? It was just like very weird.
Too young as well.
Very weird.
Like it's stupid because like even like in the international break last season, like towards the end of the season when Mason Greenwood was like banging in goals, like he still wasn't picking him, and like obviously like I completely agree with after that Iceland incident not letting Foden and Greenwood in the team.
But the fact that I let Foden back and not Mason Greenwood just kind of told me it really put a lot of doubt in my mind in terms of Southgate's competence as a coach and as a man manager. But quickly getting through these last few bits for our squad here. Or it's coming to you. Who would your 6 attackers be and your other striker would be?
Okay. Actually, no. All right. Yeah. Rashford, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Sterling. Who else have I not mentioned? Mason Mount.
Yeah, one more.
Oh, well, not mentioned.
Saka, Smith Rowe, Sancho.
No, Smith Rowe, I said for midfield.
Oh, yeah, you did say, yeah, categorize.
Yeah, I think I said, and Saka, yeah.
Okay, that would be your 6.
Yeah, for 2 strikers.
Well, Kane's one of those, and who'd the other one be?
Oh, yeah, Kane and Greenwood.
All right. And Wally, quickly back over to you, real quick. Your 6 attackers and your other striker.
If you're there.
Has Wally gone missing? I think Wally might have gone
Harry
missing.
Kane. He's done a Harry Kane there.
The what?
Harry Kane. He's done a Harry Kane there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes.
think-
Yeah. Harry Kane.
I think he would say Harry Kane and Eddie Nketiah.
Wait, what?
Harry Kane and Eddie Nketiah, you probably say.
Because of Eddie Nketiah's amazing record with the England under 21s.
True, and he broke the record, goal scoring record for the under 21s.
And Fowler and Balogun too. And you throw Balogun in there too.
Right, Waleed, are you there?
Well, Waleed, mate, are you there? Because if not, we're gonna move right into some Premier League updates.
That'll be great.
Yeah, I know. And you want
Waleed's back. Waleed's back.
Waleed is back. Waleed, mate,
You're on mute. You're on mute.
you're on mute, lad.
Yeah, sorry. My brother just came back from work and I just now, so I was just
Really quickly, your 6 attackers and your 1 other striker, real quick.
Okay. Foden, Grealish, Rashford, Sterling, Smith Rowe.
Okay. Saka? Question mark?
Who?
Saka? Question mark? Possibly.
It's like Saka, Sancho. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm for Saka. Yeah, that's my 6.
And who would your other striker be after Harry Kane?
Tammy Abraham. For me, that's fine.
That's not a bad shot at all, Tammy Abraham. If you look at what he's doing for Roma at the moment,
Forrest is fuming. He's gone. He doesn't agree with that decision.
Well, he doesn't agree at all. But anyways, that will do it for our World Cup squads. And honestly, even as us,
Please don't start with United. Just start with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Ursman, why do you not agree with my Tammy Abraham shot?
Well,
You think
right now for Roma, is he doing good? No, not doing that well for Roma.
what? He's been the
He
best
hasn't
player
been
this
that well
season.
for Roma. That well.
let's move away from the English national
We'll
team
move
and
away.
go into the Premier
I think
League.
Greenwood deserves.
Because
that's
we're all,
good.
I'm not even gonna lie here, we're all quite bored of talking about the English national
Yeah,
team.
man.
You know,
Yeah.
football's boring, of itself. It took longer than expected, but that's fine. Moving back into the Premier League, and I'll start with Manchester United. And as we were talking about earlier, and Forrest already has a very pleased look on his face. And after hearing what Brendan Rodgers had to say in a press conference, the whole links and how he was disrespectful to ask him those questions, and how he's very proud and happy to be Leicester City manager. Big C, I'll start with you. What did you make of what Brendan Rodgers had to say? And in terms of who would your number 1 choice would be to replace Mr. Absolutely Fantastic? Who would your number 1 choice would be? And what do you make of these Brendan Rodgers links?
I think Brendan Rodgers said what he had to say. Now, does that mean that he's not going to be the next Manchester United manager? I don't believe that. I feel like if Manchester United sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and they see Brendan Rodgers as the number 1 target, then I feel like he'll leave Leicester and go to Manchester United. I just feel like right now, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the manager of Manchester United, he's the manager of Leicester City. He just had to say, what he said, and yeah. Would I be happy with Brendan Rodgers coming in as manager of Manchester United? No, nothing against him. I think he's a good manager. I feel like what he's done in football is good, but there's levels, and I don't think he's at the level of Conte, Klopp, Pep.
No, to be fair, not a lot of people.
Tuchel.
To be fair,
Yeah, but he's for me, he's not at that level. And we're Manchester United, like we're meant to be the top English club, one of the top clubs in the world, and we're trying to get back up to the level that we haven't been at from since Ferguson's left. So then now we're gonna bring in a manager that's not at their level. And in life, you only can play the cards that you've been dealt. But for the life of me, I can't see him being able to be top of the league, getting winning the Champions League ahead of all these managers that I just said. I don't think is at that level. So why would we want to bring him in? Like, just because he's the easiest target is not about the easiest target. It's about the right target. And I don't think he's the right target. Can he prove me wrong? If he was to come in, I hope so, because I like the man. Like, I think he's a good coach. He speaks well, and I think his heart's in the right place, and trying to achieve what he wants to achieve. But is he good enough? That's the question, and I don't think he's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I share the same opinion for me about Brendan Rodgers. Who would your number one choice be to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
I think is something that we need to look at very carefully, because it's not about just picking up anybody.
No,
like we've got this decision wrong so many times after Alex Ferguson left. So I think it's something that should really be looked at, and there's something that not to look at right now. I think they should have been looking at this for ages ago, because for the life of me,
when he was a caretaker,
years ago, because for the life of me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should have been brought in. It should have been short term. I don't know why they made it long term.
He should have been to the end of the season and then cut. Simple as that. But obviously, Rio Ferdinand was like, get the contract out. Man United are back. And then after in the end, everyone got gassed, and then he got the big deal. And then
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should have never been a long term manager at Manchester United.
Guilty. I mean, all of us we're seeing all these at the wheel. I think every single one of us are guilty. I mean, I'll say right now, I'll hold my hands up. I'm guilty that I was singing Always at the Wheel after the PSG game.
No, but for me, I ain't gonna lie to you. For me, what I was saying was wait until the end of the season. When he was the interim manager, I was happy. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, you know what? There was a run of games. If you can remember, in that season, there was a run of games. I think it started when we played Arsenal. If I'm not mistaken.
It started against Arsenal, we beat you 2-0. Then you got pots by Everton 4-0.
Yeah, but,
and then after you lost
the
Cardiff.
The point is what I'm trying to say. It was a run of games where we was doing well and we was beating the teams that we should have been beating in a convincing manner.
Yeah, you got like 17 games unbeaten, I think. And then after you faced us,
there was an important part of the season where I was like, you know what? Let's wait until the end of the season. And any sensible owner would have waited it until the end of the season, especially where we've got it wrong with David Moyes. We've got it wrong with Van Gaal. We've got it wrong with Mourinho. So just to give him a contract based upon emotions, like that's what fans are meant to be doing. Successful businessmen shouldn't operate like that. It should be calculated decisions. Wait until the dust settles. Wait until the end of the season, and and then we can you be more in an educated position to make a decision.
But obviously, your owners don't care about the football club, really and truly.
And then, what makes it even worse? We finished second last season. We didn't win the Europa League, and then we give him a new contract. I was fuming when we was about to give him a new contract. I was like, "What the hell? I want this guy gone." And we're giving him a new contract. Another thing as well, this season was so crucial in terms of the direction that Manchester United are going to be going into. Why are we giving him a new contract at the beginning of the season? Wait until the end of this season for him to really prove himself and say, you know what, can he really swing with the big boys? And he's showing that he can't do it. So that's another mistake that the Glazers have made. And I don't trust the Glazers.
Is it a mistake though?
Say that again?
Is it a mistake or is it intentional? That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't think the Glazers are intentionally going out the way to mess up the club, but I don't think they're just not.
They're just not competent.
They're just not. Yeah, they're just competent.
Oh, there's no competence. We've seen it for years, but I'm going to, so I'll start with you because I know you've been quiet for a lot of the show, like Harry Kane has been for Tottenham a lot of the season. In terms of your number one managerial replacement for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who would that be? Of course, being realistic, you can't just choose anyone, obviously. Who's your number one choice right now would be to replace Mr. Fantastic?
Mr. Smiling. If I had to pick one, it has to be, this is so tough. Because my mind, in my head, it's either Zidane or Ten Hag, but I think Ten Hag, for me, Ten Hag, because if you look at how the way he plays for Ajax, imagine he does that for United, that would be unbelievable. And if we get Ten Hag, more game time, we'll get to see more games on Van der Beek, more games of Tellers, more game time of the lot, more game time of players that Ole doesn't really use. So yeah,
I agree with that. Big C, what about you? If you just to throw a name, who would your number one choice be?
I would like Pochettino.
Oh,
I like Pochettino.
Why
I like
Pochettino?
Pochettino as well. Yeah,
I'm intrigued. Why Pochettino over maybe the likes of someone like?
I like Pochettino. I rate Pochettino.
I think Pochettino, everywhere he's gone, I think he's done a really, really, really good job in terms of just developing a squad.
But does he not remind you of a Brendan Rodgers kind of like a yes man kind of person? And in terms of winning trophies?
It feels a yes man. There's still a bit of Tottenham, to be honest.
I'm not disagreeing.
In life, you only can play the hand that you've been dealt. He got played the hand at Tottenham, and I think he done an amazing job. If he would have won a Carabao Cup, if he would have won an FA Cup, and then he would have suffered in the league and suffered in the Champions League, but he's won a cup. I feel like he's done an amazing job. I would have rather, if I'm a Tottenham fan, don't get me wrong, they would have won a cup. They would have wanted the cup, but in terms of what he's done for the actual club and bringing them forward, he's done an amazing job. I don't think you can underestimate the job that he's done at Tottenham.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with that. So you would say Pochettino. For me, it has to be Zinedine Zidane. I mean, the guy's a winner, and I think right now we need a guy who will come in and who has. Then my one issue with Ten Hag and Pochettino for me, you have some very big personalities in that locker room.
Yeah, I touched on that as well.
If you're not pleasing Ronaldo, then you're already in a very, very bad place.
But for me, you know why I picked Ten Hag?
You have Paul Pogba. You have someone like a Rafael Varane. David Hay is also a very big presence in the locker room. I mean, for me, Zinedine Zidane. Zinedine Zidane has coached Ronaldo. He loves Ronaldo. He's coached Varane. He's always dreamed of coaching Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba, I think, would definitely sign a new contract if Zinedine Zidane became a new
Of course, yes.
He's a winner. He's a very good style of football. He is a very, very, very tactically astute coach. Has a very specific and set way of playing on the front foot, breaking teams down. He definitely wanted Van de Beek before he came to Manchester United. Van der Sar did us a favor. Let's not, take that away. Edwin Van der Sar did us a favor in giving us Donny Van de Beek because he was basically off to Real Madrid. Zinedine Zidane definitely wanted him at Real Madrid, but he ended up not getting.
So Van der Sar actually wrote us a letter. It's like he knew. It's like basically take care of him. Like he's one of ours. Like
exactly.
He just done the complete opposite what he actually wants us to do.
If you want any player or anything from Ajax, and Ajax are like, Manchester are interested in such and such. Ajax are just going to show us the middle finger and say, up yours, go do it.
Yeah, we burned that
I picked Ten Hag would actually bring Van der Sar with him, and
no, he wouldn't.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would. For me, he would, and I think Van der Sar, his dream.
Literally, just about what we were talking about before with this. Like afterwards,
do you think he's gonna come to Man United and he's gonna be with Ed Woodward? No way. I mean, he'd like to bring.
The Glazers are all about mates. It will be Richard Arnold when Woodward leaves.
Richard Arnold, mate. Glazers, I'm fed up with them. When they said,
like them at all. I'm just thinking from that point of view. Like, would the Glazers really want someone like that?
When they said Ronaldo joined us when he was 16, that's when I was like, what? He joined us when he was 18, mate. Get that. Before you speak to, who they were speaking to, like children or something. Before you actually speak facts, because he joined when he was 18, not 16. And for me, with Glazers, would they sell the club?
No.
We need, what would sell the club? What would make them sell the club? If we leave games if we do like a walkout, if we do a protest mid-game like we did with Liverpool, we got that game, biggest game in Premier League, we got that game cancelled as well. That would ruin the pockets as well. So I think walking out games early and
I understand that, but even you guys literally had a protest like last week and barely anyone turned up. So
but I think no, they got that wrong because someone wrote in the protest it was an Ole out protest. Someone wrote in there
Yeah, but either way, a protest is a protest, isn't it? If you guys want to like assert your beliefs about the football club and speak about what you want to speak about, then you should at least be
Our
doing
fan
that.
base, yeah, our
And
fan base
obviously,
is
like
divided.
you guys have the fan base to do it because you've
There we
hosted
go.
countless successful protests before. But
Mm.
also, like me personally, I wouldn't want Manchester United being bought by like a Saudi owner, not even just because like oh Man United will win the Premier League and stuff like that. I just feel like the richness of Man United's history would be
That's a
like
good point.
out the window because like people would just be like, oh Man United are oil club, da, da, da. And I don't see Manchester United as
They
that.
can't call us
I
oil
see
club
Manchester
anymore.
United as
Yeah.
a typical proper English club who have gone through the ranks, who've brought youth into the squad and bring youth
They,
through and made them
Yeah, you make
successful
a
but they
with
can't call us oil
yeah.
clubs because
Like I respect
Newcastle,
Manchester
they
United as a
have
football
yeah,
club.
they have
Fans, yeah.
Newcastle's owners. Their net worth is 300 billion, so they have no rights to call us oil clubs or whatever.
Shifting
No,
in
but just like
around
football
to,
fans in general,
there's actually
not
a couple of
specifically
things I
them.
want to shift into after Manchester United. I mean, a couple of clubs have made changes for their new managers. So I'll start with Aston Villa. Big C, how do you think number 8,
Stevie J.
former Liverpool captain Steven Gerrard will
Hasn't won the league.
cope?
He has not won the league yet.
Whoa! Will cope at Aston Villa. How do you think he'll do? Aston Villa? Do you think he'll do well? And do you think he is the protege to take the wheel for Jurgen Klopp when he leaves Anfield?
Did you direct that at me? The question at me?
Yes.
Yeah.
With Steven Gerrard, I think it's like a boxer or UFC fighter that's doing really well in terms of fighting against a low opposition, and then now he's got that big test to see can he swing with the big boys, and time will tell. I feel like everything he's done in management so far, he's done very well. Like he's been flawless so far.
Rangers.
But then, say that again, sorry.
I said, and he didn't do it just with Celtic like Rodgers did. He did it with Rangers, and he brought in some international players. He brought in the likes of Haji, Glenn Kamara. Glenn Kamara is a fabulous player. Players that nobody even really knew of. Those two, you have Tavernier, another great player, great right back. I mean, you have players who no one really knew a lot about.
Aribo as well. Like that's my guy, man. Aribo, low. That's from my man as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a fantastic job. He's a young manager. Obviously, he's one of the all-time great Premier League footballers. But obviously, can he do it in management in the Premier League? Like he's dominated Scottish football. For him to do what he done in Scotland in terms of obviously Celtic was the dominant Scottish team. For him to come there, do the Invincibles, like it's been flawless. Like as I was saying, it reminds me of like a young Conor McGregor in terms of dominating. Then he gets the big title fight, and then now we can see what he can do with the big boys. And yeah, man, time will tell. Time will tell. But I feel like he has got the making of a good manager for me. Like he's intelligent. He's got that charisma, got that aura about him. He was scoring goals and he wasn't conceding. So from a tactical point of view, he looks like, he knows what he's doing, but time will tell what he can do. But I think it'll be exciting to watch. And yeah, like definitely all eyes are going to be on him. And I think he can do a good job.
Definitely. I definitely think he was deserving of this opportunity. I think Aston Villa is a perfect club for him. I don't think it's too high level. I don't think it's too low level. I think this is just a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, it's the perfect club.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for him to showcase himself.
A club with a lot of history. Aston Villa is a club with a huge amount of history. Honestly, and I'm not trying to hear people say Aston Villa are going to get relegated. They have a good enough squad to definitely stay in the Premier League. They have a good enough squad that each to the very highest of levels could be chasing after a Conference League spot at the highest of levels. Do I think Steven Gerrard is going to immediately get them there? No, I don't think that will happen. But I think Steven Gerrard could definitely get them to a respectable finish, mid-table. I'm honestly, Steven Gerrard for me, I'm stunned in terms of what he's done in the management. Aspects. For me, as a player, everybody knows, especially from a Manchester United fan point of view, Steven Gerrard. I can't stand the guy. Honestly, can't stand the guy. But I can't not respect what he's
lifted the Premier League
and the legacy that he's left in his career. The man's won trophies. He didn't win the Premier League.
Except
a lasting legacy in terms of what he's done in this game, and I can't help but respect him for that and have some sort of
Definitely, yeah.
And he's done, as you said, a really good job with Rangers, and I definitely think he earned this opportunity. And I think he's actually what I think.
At the same time, I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna be easy for him. Like he may struggle to find his feet because he looks like he's got his brand of football that he wants to play. He's got a lot of players, so he needs to find what his best, starting 11 is going to be like. And as a new manager coming in, that may take time. So it's not a given that he's going to hit the ground running. But I feel like within time, I think he needs to get to a good start, because if he gets to a bad start, and then the pressure's going to be on him, because obviously it's Steven Gerrard. It's interesting
just like
to see
how
what's going to happen.
Like Frank Lampard and them, man. But like the thing is with Gerrard, like that's something that Dean Smith evidently struggled with in terms of picking his best starting 11. He was kept on chopping and changing every week, kept chopping and changing formations and stuff like that. And for the chemistry of the players, that wasn't really working. Like you can see it, like Aston Villa have a very, very good squad. They have England international Danny Ings, who we could have possibly debated with in the England thing, but he hasn't really been that good this season, to be fair. They've got the likes of Leon Bailey, Bertrand Traore, who I highly rate. I think he's a top player, and I think he should be starting for Aston Villa.
Top player.
They got he's a baller for me. Ami Buendia as well, who on his day still he can be one of the best creative players in the Prem. They have very, very good players in that squad, and I feel like a player of Steven Gerrard's quality in terms of management so far in his career, he can demand that. He can demand first of all, that's another important thing. He can demand respect from the players, because he's a man who's done almost everything as a player, almost everything. But he's a man who's one of the best English midfielders of all time. And
definitely.
He's a player that people 110% would want to listen to and would want to take advice from, and a player that will demand respect in the changing room. And that's something that's very important. It takes you a long way as a manager, which is why I feel like this is a very ambitious appointment from Aston Villa, and it shows a stand, they're taking a stand in terms of them wanting to see if they can qualify and take that step further in the Prem. Obviously, I think they finished 11th last season or 12th, which isn't too bad because they almost got relegated the season before. But I feel like they want to show the statement of intent that they want to go a step further and get to the level of West Ham.
What his biggest challenge for me?
His biggest challenge.
Sorry to cut you.
So that's fine.
The biggest challenge for me in terms of his management and his emotional intelligence, because obviously he's got the pedigree of being Steven Gerrard, but at the same time, how is he going to be able to deal with certain egos? Because obviously there's one thing doing it at Rangers, now coming to Aston Villa, not to say there's lots of egos, but at the same time, you're still dealing with, a lot of, good players.
But early doors, I don't think that will be that much of a problem, obviously, because it will be a point where players will be willing to listen to him, because obviously, he's just come in and all that. So, so far, early doors, I don't think that would really be a problem as of right now. Maybe that might be a problem, something that they can look for later on in terms of make sure he's getting.
I'm just thinking if he doesn't start well, because he comes across as someone that's got his philosophy. He's got his philosophy, which is great. But at the same time, when you've got a philosophy and then you need to pick players that try to fit best in that philosophy, it may take time for the team to play the brand of football that he wants, but at the same time, the football's based upon results. So if he's not getting the results because the teams, haven't figured out how they want to play yet, then that's when pressure may come into it, and then that's when he is, he's going to be tested. Where he hasn't been tested
100%.
at this level yet.
Which is why it's a learning curve for everyone, for all parties involved.
Orest, quickly, lastly, coming over to you before we wrap up the show with some predictions, which I know we did on Football Fan TV, but just to bring them back to my channel. Your thoughts on Steven Gerrard taking over Aston Villa? Do you think that will serve to be a good appointment at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think that was a good appointment for Aston Villa. That shows that, unlike United, they have actually ambition, which United don't have. Because apparently, we need to give the manager the time. Just give him the process, but
give him time. Remember back in '99 with Sir Alex Ferguson? Because obviously Sir Alex compares to Mr. Fantastic in terms of resumes even before he said he came to Matchday as a manager. And I mean, it's not like he won. It's not like he broke the Celtic Rangers thing by winning the league with Aberdeen and then winning the European Cup with Aberdeen against Real Madrid in the final. It's not like that just happened. But we'll go to the final segment of the show. We'll just do some predictions for Matchday 12. I know we did it on Oris's channel, Football Fan TV, which go check that out and subscribe to his channel because that's
Football Fan Show, 100%. Shout out.
And get my channel to 100 subs as well. My channel is dwindling like Manchester United's defense at this very moment.
I think Jared would do well. I wouldn't be surprised if he asked the board to take to get some players that range
100%.
Maybe Ryan Kent. Maybe I could see him join Aston Villa.
Yeah. We're quickly getting into these predictions because
Let's move on to the predictions. Yeah. I'm going to be at top of the table.
For the predictions, I mean, on my channel, it's just I don't necessarily do scores, and also we don't really opposite of that much time as well. So I mean, we'll just go with either draw, winner, loss, or whatnot. I'll start with Leicester and Chelsea, and I'll go around Big C. What are you saying for Leicester and Chelsea? It's going to be a good game though, regardless.
It's definitely going to be a good game. All eyes are going to be on Brendan Rodgers. Obviously, he's been linked with Manchester United. Hasn't started the season well. From what they've done in the last 2 to 3 seasons. Who's at home? Is Leicester at home or is it?
Leicester's at home.
Ooh, it's interesting. I think it might be a draw. A draw.
All right. Oris, what about you?
Leicester win.
All right. Waleed, what about you?
Yeah, going off what Big C said, like how this is a big game for like Brendan Rodgers to see if he can silence the critics to say whether he might be good enough for the Man United job. But usually over the last few years, Leicester have been starting seasons well and like falling off towards the end. But this season it's been more like they've started the season pretty slowly. So with Chelsea, they've been like a Rolls Royce. They've been like absolutely amazing. Even when they didn't have Lukaku and Werner, they've still looked pretty decent. So I'll probably say Chelsea win, especially if one of those two are back. So yeah, Chelsea win.
Yeah, I'll say Chelsea win as well. I think what Tuchel's done has been outstanding for Chelsea, and they look so organized. And they're at the top of the league for a reason, and they're my favorite to win the Premier League this season for a reason. And I think
Lukaku's back as well. I think
that's what I saw as well. So if he plays, that'll be massive.
Yeah, and I mean, here you go. Newcastle hosts Brentford. That'll also be an interesting one. New manager bouncing Eddie Howe, and then you have Brentford, who lost the last 5 games, and Thomas Frank. And I gotta say, Thomas Frank's just one of the coolest guys around. You honestly is. It's for me, Thomas Frank. It's like it's not only the Brentford supporters are behind him, but I feel like the entirety of the Premier League supporters are just behind him.
Have they lost the last 5? I know they lost the last 2. I wonder where they lost the last 5.
I thought they lost the last 5, but I could be wrong. But I think they might be winless in 5. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong, but I think they've been winless in 5.
Okay.
I think we're least checking.
Yeah, got to check now.
But Newcastle Brentford, what are we predicting for this game?
I think Brentford will win. Yeah, Brentford will win.
Brentford win. Big C.
Oh yeah, Brentford. They lost their last 4 games. Yeah, they lost their last 4.
They started the season really well, and as you were saying, it was kind of like everyone's second favorite team. Newcastle, new manager, new owners. I think this one's got a draw written over it as well.
Yeah. Waleed, what about you?
For me, Newcastle is a must-win game for them. Like they're the only team in the Premier League to have not won a game yet. They have to win this game. Like it's like they need this new manager bounce right now. And to be fair, I don't.
The question is, will they? What's your prediction?
I think they will. I think it'll be Newcastle win. I think they will. But if Newcastle were to win, then I'll be massive on Brentford as well. But
Brentford lose. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, my prediction for this game, I agree with Big C. I think this will be drawing all over. Burnley and Crystal Palace. For me, Crystal Palace are winning this game. I know Burnley have had a good run of results. I mean, by their standards.
They're unbeaten and 3.
Yeah, I mean that's a good, and I think they only lost to City in the last 4 games. But for me, I think Crystal Palace will win. He's really impressed me in terms of the way he's completely changed the way Palace play. and their style of football. It's very attractive at the moment for Crystal Palace. They've been in good form. Big C, starting with you, who do you think will take the 3 points here, or will it be a draw?
I think Crystal Palace is going to win this. I've been really impressed with Patrick Vieira, Crystal Palace. Changed the way they play football, and he's really stamped his blueprint, and stamped his identity on Crystal Palace. And yeah, I feel Crystal Palace fans is giving them something to look forward to in terms of, it's not just about being in the Premier League. Okay, we'll be in the Premier League, but can we move forward? And I think it's done a good job. And yeah, I feel Crystal Palace are going to win this one. Can't sleep on Burnley. Potential banana skin for Crystal Palace, but I think they should get the win.
Definitely. Oris, what about you?
Yeah, Palace win. Vieira's at the wheel. Vieira's doing a massive job.
Yeah,
I think he's doing a great job. Great job.
Waleed, what about you? Real quick, Palace and Burnley.
I mean, I think it'll be a draw. I think Burnley will get a draw. Like in these sort of games,
No way.
Sometimes these sort of games they can pull something out the hat. Like Sean Dyche, you never know.
It's definitely a potential banana skin for Palace, but
yeah, it could be. But
could be.
Yeah, so I don't think Conor Gallagher would start as well, just because he was with England as well. So I could see a draw.
Right. Aston Villa hosting Brighton, of course, as we just said. Aston Villa, Steven Gerrard, branding manager, and Brighton, good side as well, but they haven't been in great form at the moment either. I mean, neither of these sides have been in good form at the moment at all. But one side is a new manager coming in. But of course, we know the quality that Brighton have. What are we saying? Just all around. Big C, I'll start with you.
I think Brighton's going to win this one. Obviously Steven Gerrard coming in is going to be his first game, but I'm really impressed the way how Brighton play football. As I'm saying, Steven Gerrard coming in, he's got his way of playing football. It may not hit the ground running. I feel Brighton's going to win this one.
All right.
Be a definitely interesting game to watch, but I think my money will be on Brighton.
All right. Horace, what about you?
Draw. I feel draw.
All right. Waleed, what about you?
I'm gonna say Aston Villa win. I mean, not Aston Villa win. Yeah, I'm on about Aston Villa win. Like, even though they have lost their last 5 games, which is like very interesting and like to show. Brighton haven't won a game in their last 5 as well. I think they've drawn 1 and they've drawn 2 and lost 3. So and I think this new manager bounce will be needed for Villa, and like the fans I believe it's at Villa Park, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at Villa Park. So the fans are going to be up for it. Everyone's going to be up for it. I can see Aston Villa winning this game.
All right. Next, Watford hosting Manchester United. I know Oris already had his prediction for that one. You saw me earlier. Oris, you still stand by your prediction that Watford will
win 2-0? Watford are winning this game. Watford are winning this game.
Big C, are you having this? Do you really think Watford will beat Manchester United? Even though it is Mr. Fantastic at the wheel, it's Watford we're talking about.
It's interesting to see this international break. Did the international break come at the right time for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? The fact that obviously that he went on a holiday and he wasn't really at the training ground working on things that obviously needed to get worked on. I understand that a lot of the players would have went on international football, but still it would have been a good opportunity for him and his coaching staff to get things right that obviously that are not right at the moment. Where Man United's confidence is on the floor, Watford would have had the whole international break to try and work, on a game plan to beat Manchester United. I think it might be a draw, or if it's not a draw, I can see maybe Watford grabbing something. Like, don't get me wrong, Man United can win, but I don't think it's going to be a dominant performance. If Man United do win, it might be a scrappy win. But I'm gonna go for a draw. I'm gonna go for a draw.
Waleed, real quick, your prediction for this game?
Yeah, I think Ole will go back 3 for this game. I think he's gonna try control the game, or at least try
if this guy plays back 3 against Watford.
Yeah, but I think that's his only way. That formation is his only way of controlling teams, to be honest, which is kind of sad. So
not really.
Yeah, but with this game, it's a massive game for both teams. Both teams.
Yes.
It's a massive
game.
Quick prediction. I think United will nick something from this game. I think they'll win.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it could easily be a draw, but I think Matchday will just score it at the end.
The fact that we're even talking about Watford possibly winning this game, and Man United have like the likes of Ronaldo, Sancho.
It won't be pretty at all.
Hey, Ollie Tax. Thank you, man.
It won't be pretty.
Bruno, it's actually mind-boggling, to be honest. Like,
Not really, because if you think about
imagine the cycling GK getting a clean sheet against the second greatest player of all time.
Smiling after this 5-0.
Yeah. Quickly moving to the next one: Wolves versus West Ham. As good a form as Wolves have been, West Ham are just on another level. For me, West Ham will take all 3 points.
Yeah, West
Ham. Yeah, wait.
I think it'll be a draw for me. Okay. I need it to be a draw at least for Arsenal to have any chance of like sneaking us to the top.
Yeah. What about you? What's your prediction for this game?
Both teams have impressed me. This might be a banana skin for West Ham. Maybe who's playing at home?
Wolves. At the moment.
I'm gonna go for Wolves win.
Okay, all right. Norwich versus Southampton. Norwich having a new manager, and Dean Smith gets appointed 8 days after he got sacked. I thought that was not only remarkable.
They do have more ambition. It does shows ambition as well.
I actually found that kind of funny. But for me, Southampton, I think will take all 3.
Southampton win, yeah, for me. Easy.
Big C, you agree?
Yeah, Southampton win.
Yeah. And now the big one, Liverpool and Arsenal.
Haven't had that for a while.
I know Waleed's going to waffle on for ages about this one. He's
man. I'll keep it short and simple.
I'll get you out of the way. What's your prediction for this, mate?
I'll keep it short and simple. Obviously, to be fair, I'm getting tired as well. But yeah, like I've said this many times.
You truly are like Arteta, overcomplicating things like certain Europe.
Don't worry, Dave. I'm gonna convince him to be Arteta. Don't worry.
I'm just enjoying Arsenal right now, man. I'm not Arteta now. It's not like this football thing, yeah, where like you have to be like either in or out for a manager. It's just BS, man. Like just enjoy the football, man. Enjoy the
team, prediction for this game.
Liverpool win.
All right. Oris, what about you? Arsenal we're still on this Arteta masterclass, and you think Arteta is
Arsenal are going to win, and they're going to give a clean sheet as well.
Okay.
Big Steve, what about you?
You know what? I've been watching football for a long time, and I feel like with Arsenal is the hope that always kills them.
Yeah, so now that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm keeping man.
Really?
I've seen this situation many times, and then they will get smoked by Liverpool. But I feel like
especially last season.
It might be a bit different. Something why I like this Arsenal is since this unbeaten run, they've shown resilience. They've also shown a good spine within their team in terms of keeping clean sheets. The defensive partnership has looked good. Goalkeepers looked good. So this is a proper big test. It's a big test for Arsenal and also a test for Liverpool. Liverpool lost the last game. They dropped points the game before that as well. So they haven't won in the last 2 games. 1 point in the last 2 games. So that's unlike Liverpool. So it'd be interesting. I feel this game will say a lot about both teams. I'm not too sure, man. And I feel like that's where maybe shows where Arsenal's actually turned the corner, because before I would have said Liverpool all day long, like they were going to smoke them, but I'm not really getting the vibes that they're going to smoke them. Maybe Liverpool may prove me wrong, and Arsenal show their true colours.
This one is a difficult one. It really is.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, man. I feel it wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal sneak something. Wait, is it Anfield as well, though?
Anfield,
it is at Anfield.
Oh my gracious God! Amazon Prime have just posted something very interesting.
Arsenal never won in Anfield, but I'll just be real.
It's Jurgen Klopp and Arteta's last 33 matches. So 33 matches played between both managers.
Don't compare Jurgen. I don't even.
Klopp, I just want to say this. Yeah, it's crazy. Klopp has 17 wins. Arteta has 18 wins. Klopp has 9 defeats. Arteta has 8 defeats.
No,
you read those stats after. Yeah.
How
and Liverpool? This is the crazy one.
Times against each other.
No. I'm saying no. This is just the last 33 games that have been played. Like Liverpool's last 33 games, Arsenal's last 33 games.
But then when you guys lose 3 games in a row, Arteta out, game out, my club. So yeah, the stats are nice.
And this is the crazy one. So Jurgen Klopp for Liverpool has picked up 58 points in the last 33 games. Arteta for Arsenal 61 points.
I mean, but then will he?
No,
I've got
I know
enough
he's going to
Arsenal
be saying
fans
off
always
south.
come with these
Liverpool had
weird
last season.
stats, you know.
Bearing in mind-
I've never seen a fan base draw for some weird stats as much as Arsenal.
Exactly.
I literally found this on Amazon Prime. Like, I don't know why they posted that.
Anyways, Big C,
Only
your
Arsenal
prediction
fan
for
can
this
get
game.
stats like that.
Also, Arteta has beaten Jurgen Klopp 3 times, so I just want to say that as well.
You know what? You've convinced me Liverpool's going to win this now, just because of that. Just because of that. Yeah,
man.
Liverpool.
But to be fair,
I'm
Arteta,
also convinced Liverpool's winning this
Arsenal
game,
will win.
and I hate those Scousers, but yeah.
One thing that I haven't mentioned, there's no team that I reckon that's better in terms of when they're, like when the animal's hurt and they lash back out. I feel that's like Liverpool over, and like a boxer as well. Certain boxers when they're at the most dangerous when
it comes
they've been
to
hurt.
proving a point and making a statement, they're the best.
And I'll say this right now, the biggest example is actually at the Emirates last season. Liverpool just had a very, very tough loss to Real Madrid, and Arsenal have been in decent form coming into this game at the Emirates. Liverpool
Got absolutely smoked.
Liverpool just brushed them aside.
And we've been bigging up Arsenal's defense, but they're not going to have a bigger test than against Liverpool's attack. So it's going to be a really interesting game.
They backed Arteta with 150 million. They got Tomiyasu. They got Tavares, Lokonga. All the God as well. And I think Arteta will actually win on Saturday, 5:30. Arsenal will win. Because for me, Kroenke have backed him. They given him what the tools Arteta wants. And this, I think, at the end of the season, if Arsenal are not in that top 6, then Arteta should go. But what I'm saying,
that'll be a massive statement, though, to go to Anfield and to beat Arsenal, to beat Liverpool at Anfield. That'll be a massive statement.
That would be a huge statement. But yeah, I'll go for Liverpool win, especially because it's at Anfield. I don't know, probably 3-1 because it's always it typically is almost always 3-1.
I think the international break probably would have done Liverpool a favour.
Something tells me Arsenal will win.
I think it'll be.
I think we'll lose like 2-1 or something. Like we do always lose 3-1 to be fair. Anfield, that's very true. But
next, then we have Man City against Everton. Man City will win this game. I think 100%. Everton is multiple form. City's just running rampant as they typically do. Is City win amongst the three of you?
Yeah, City obviously. Yeah,
City win.
Or are we saying a City win?
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And
so we were gonna say something controversial.
Actually, you know what? Draw.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew you were gonna say that.
That's really
see. Look what against Crystal Palace. Everyone predicted City wins, so I'm saying draw against Everton.
All right. And last but not least, Tottenham against Leeds. I think this one. I think Tottenham. I think this will actually be. I think Tottenham will annihilate Leeds because Leeds. My one problem with Bielsa, he's a great coach, but he always plays into the hands of counter-attacking football so easily. So and
so naive. He's like he's arrogant to be fair. In a way.
Like he doesn't have a strong enough spine at the back. Like I think Melia is a decent goalkeeper, but I mean for me, like Melia is looking in front of him, and he's probably
Eiling is terrible, man.
He's probably thinking, is this just Magaluf in disguise? Because I don't really rate Strauch.
Eiling is terrible, man.
Strauch, I don't rate. Robin Coates, not a fan. Luke Ayling's still in there, but he's not a center back.
Ayling is terrible, man. Oh god.
But you have Stuart Dallas, who's not even a center back. He's a right back. Yeah, I think Stuart Dallas is all right. He's not world beating.
I don't even think they have one good defender.
Literally,
and
that Diego Llorente guy's all right to be fair.
No, he's okay. Diego Llorente he's mediocre. But the fact of the matter is that like Victor Lindelof could go to that club and he would beat their best center back, and that's just a major issue. If that
You're actually praising
Pablo Mara went there, he'd be their best center back.
But anyways, getting into this game, I think this will be a Tottenham annihilation for me. I think Tottenham will annihilate Leeds because Conte, I think, is going to have that team just going.
Yeah.
Have that team going and playing a style of football. But are all of you saying a Tottenham win here?
Yeah, I'll probably hate to say it, but I'll say Tottenham win. But just because of
James, man, like Harry Kane, I've not heard from him in I don't know, gosh, it's how long. But yeah.
He'll be happy with this.
Anything else quick to say before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, I just want to say
Watford will win and Ollie's getting sacked. That's what I'm saying. Ollie's getting sacked this weekend.
Wally, you were waffling on about something.
Scott, you and Road to Red Devils left to go on to me, you know? Like, you
Mate,
man are doing a little.
I'm only joking. Wait, no, you were saying
Yeah, I'm joking, but like, I just want to quick touch on Leeds. Yeah, like the only reason, like, I could understand why Bielsa want to play a style of football in it, but first of all, he hasn't got the players for it, which is like a very important thing. Like, you can't be trying to be playing like pressing style football when you got like Liam Cooper and flipping
yeah,
Pascal
Liam
Strauch and
Cooper
them
as
man,
well.
and like and these men play like. They play like a 4-1-4-1. They play one CD and four attackers, one striker, and four defenders. I mean, four a back four. Like they literally just leave Calvin Phillips on his ones in the midfield basically, and then Rodrigo sometimes will like cutting, like set back. But like with their football, it's just not been working this season. Like they've only won 2 games all season. Like that's not going to be enough. Like
No,
second season
definitely,
syndrome, it starts to kick in. Something that
definitely.
we wouldn't really expect with them. So they do need
Yeah.
to pattern up soon, or else they might get in big trouble. Yeah, I'm done with
Big
my waffling
C,
now. If you're happy, day, bye.
Big C, anything else from you, mate, before we wrap up the show?
No, I'm just happy that the Premier League's back, man.
I am as well.
International football.
No international breaks till March.
I mean,
yes.
are you really happy to see United?
Oh, that
So I
aspect.
thought, you know,
Fam, by
obviously,
March, I probably wouldn't want to see Arsenal ever again, to be honest. But yeah,
like there's so many talking points and so many games that I'm interested to see.
Yeah,
Obviously, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, Watford with the whole Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation, Leicester, Brendan Rodgers against Chelsea. Like, yeah, man, just can't wait for the Premier League to be back.
Definitely.
I have one. Yeah, I have
Definitely.
one thing. I'm doing a
Yeah.
watch along a Saturday on the Football Fan Show 2:45. I'll be doing the Watford United watch along, so make sure to tune in.
also, also tomorrow, then a Premier League stream.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
Yes,
Football Fan Show YouTube
yeah.
channel. Very close to 200 subscribers. So if you
No.
guys could get,
I'm not
Close
even
to 200
half. I'm
subs,
not
that'd
even
be
half
amazing.
of that. I'm not even at half of that. Get my channel to 100 subs, please.
you can get the avatar just subs.
Also, before we end the
My channel
before-
is.
yeah.
I mean, my channel is dying. My channel is dire, and in terms of subscribers at the moment. I mean, you look at my subscriber count, and I mean,
Dave, man, to be fair,
I mean, it's like, you know, McFred's creativity. You know, I mean, it's like the pace and the partnership of Magaluf. It's you know, just the competence and Mr. Fantastic's coaching and my coaching stuff. It's just non-existent.
Yeah,
But
before we end the
this-
live, yeah, North London's better than South London. Yeah, that's it. That's what I
And Orst is in love with Mason Mount and Arteta. And that will do it. That will end the stream. Thank you so much for thank you for watching. Please get my channel to 100 subs. And I'll say in the Oli voice, get my channel to 100 subs, and I'll even do the outro in the Oli voice, of course. If you'd like to check out our other platforms on Spotify and Instagram and Apple Podcasts, please go and check it out. And of course, big up to Big C. He's Mr. Rudiger KG himself, Mr. Big C. He's
stop.
fantastic.
Ooh,
Of course,
Gaffer.
get him.
big up Big C, man. Big him up. Yeah.
Big up.
Yeah,
Big
love, man. Big up you, man. Still, man. Thanks you for inviting me, man. Anytime, man. Just follow me.
Of course, anytime.
Is it, man?
I'll still do the outro. And wherever you're watching this in the world, have a great day or evening.